All right, Mrparka and
Average Joe.
all right. You hate that nickname or you like it? You cool with it?
I'm cool with it.
All right.
I'm nothing special. My name's Joe, so it kind of works out.
It just works with the average viewer.
I'm not the avid movie buff. I'm just giving an opinion, whether you like it or not.
So we decided to go a movie that we were familiar with as kids, and a movie on Blu-ray that's a ridiculous Blu-ray release that I never thought would actually hit Blu-ray, and that is Ticks from Olive.
Yes.
They also released Boogans. I mean, they're releasing some pretty weird movies that I never thought would see the light day on DVD sometime, let alone Blu-ray. But this movie is made in 1993 by Tony Randa, who people would know for Hellraiser 2. Basically, Call to Fame has Clint Howard, Rance Howard, Seth Green, and Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which he'll always be Carlton to me, no matter what he does.
Wait, what's his last name? It's Alfonso.
It's Alfonso something really weird.
Yeah, Alfonso something weird.
But anyways, the story of Tick is your typical man versus nature type deal. Guy, marijuana farmer, blamed on the drugs somehow. Anyways, leaks marijuana, some sort of chemical gets on these ticks. It could have been anything, but it's ticks, so they go radioactive, they get large, they go crazy, and everybody knows that ticks suck blood. And ticks terrified me as a child because of this movie, and everyone I knew that's seen the movie as a kid.
Same here.
Similar to It.
I was terrified of ticks for years because of this movie.
Me too.
I almost refused to go camping.
I was at a Green Valley campground. Ticks was like my entire family and friends an apology at the time, but anyways, I love this movie because I think that nature run amok or killer giant animal movies have suffered the most from CGI and newer film. I just believe that, when you're going out to make like a killer animal movies, people don't take themselves at all seriously. This movie is fun and tongue-in-the-cheek, but it takes itself seriously enough to make a very fun and entertaining movie that the audience can see that it has actually really skill into it. I love the actual creation of the creatures, the stop motion, the strings, and just the animatronics as a mixture. You can make the stupidest fucking thing real, but if it's something you can really touch, it's actually scary. A computer is not, to me.
Yeah, this movie's totally believable enough to be scared of it.
Even
unlike CG, I honestly, that's a question I want to ask you that you don't have to answer right now. You can go with your review, but after you're done finishing up your review with this, I want to touch base on the last movie that actually scared you.
I don't really know. I mean,
In the Mouth of Madness. It was a psychological thriller.
But there was no Jacob Flander kind of got to me.
Psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monster movie had to be when I was a kid or one of these bad boys.
Ticks.
But what'd you feel about it?
I really liked it. Fucking Ticks is one of the greatest movies that I can remember watching when I was a kid that actually scared me, that was like a horror movie. I didn't watch any movies that were actually scary. Ticks is one of the ones, that's why I was so excited when you brought this up, because when I watched Ticks when I was a kid, I remember for like at least 2-3 years after I was done watching it, I didn't want to go camping. I was checking every time I would go in my backyard and play, and I was like checking my pants. Like if the grass was taller than 6 inches, I was worried about ticks.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like, I was horrified of them. So this movie is like one of the most nostalgic horror movies I've ever seen, and I love it. I friggin' love Ticks. I didn't have any complaint. I watched this movie, and out of all the movies we watched so far, I went through 1 1/4 beers. I was paying that much attention.
That's barely any beer.
I'm usually drunk by now.
Oh yeah. But, I just think it's a really fun movie. The kill count could have been higher, but we got 5 deaths in here. And, of course, we have your quintessential giant monster at the end. If you have a bunch of little creatures going on, Critters, the one grows, Critters 2, the Critter Ball, Gremlins 2, all those Gremlins getting the chemicals, and they go ape shit, and you get all these special Gremlins. So we have a giant critter at the end here, fueled by radiation. I guess it would be radiation and steroids.
Yeah,
what a great combination. A la Toxic Avenger style or something.
Well, I still don't understand why the fire kept blowing everything up.
What do you mean?
I was really thought that they were going to say there was going to be some kind of comment about why you just touched the tick with fire and it explodes.
Maybe it was so full of blood.
Who cares? A technicality.
So full of blood, it boiled, or
well, I was just thinking it's probably the toxic goo that was actually on it was.
I just think they were
flammable.
going, fire kills ticks, generic death.
Yeah, generic. All right, I'll buy that.
Like Beetlejuice.
You got to make the movie. It's got to have it. Like I said before, it's got to have its kryptonite. So
of course, they're giant ticks.
Got to kill it somehow.
But Clint Howard's in this movie, and he has the memorable line, "I'm infested," which is its AKA title, I believe, down south. And luckily, I saw it as Ticks with this awesome cover. I'm sure it's the same cover, but
honestly, if the movie was named Infested, that scene would have been horribly cheesy. And honestly,
the whole movie's got cheese. But
yeah, that movie. Fun. Honestly, if I was watching the movie and if it was named Infested and I'd have seen that movie and that scene, I'd have been like, really. Infested.
But it's Clint Howard. He can get away with anything. Dude was like in Evil Speak was balding at age like 19, and
I don't know.
he was still believable.
I'm horrible with that thing with the movie title in the movie. I can't stand
Name and
it.
title?
Unless the movie's in like okay, this movie was good enough to be a movie is what I'm saying. It's not like that knee slapper like tongue in cheek like horror movie to where it's like borderline comedy and death scenes. You know, this was a movie that was believable enough to be scary, and if they'd have done that would have made more tongue in cheek cheesy.
It is.
I think it would have taken away from it.
You know, like. I like these kind of movies like this, you know, because they had like a reoccurrence in the 80s of like 50s style giant insect monster movies. They had a reoccurrence in the 80s with stuff like Blue Monkey and Killer Clowns from Outer Space was kind of like that sci-fi feel, and I love those movies. Well, Blue Monkey's alright, but I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
The Killer Clowns from Outer Space was intended to be,
you
know, like tongue-in-cheek cheesy.
It's definitely, these are the same type of style.
And this movie was made in the intention to be tongue-in-cheek, like cheesy, like...
It's made to be, you know, obviously tongue-in-cheek, but not so obvious that it plays it serious enough that it's very fun.
I think they did a bad job of it then. The movie came out good. If they weren't intending it for it to be good, then they screwed up.
Sometimes the movies know they're in a movie. They don't ever break the wall. They don't be like, oh no, and look right at the screen. The Infested part was kind of iffy, but I think that the movie works well because it's kind of like a relapse of the 50s type sci-fi
because if you think about
like
it, that was
and stuff like that, which I think it's what its intention was to be new kind of special effects with the old school feel, but...
That was the only scene in the movie to where they looked directly at the camera, almost. Was that one scene I'm Infested. But he was looking at the girl. But it was and it was a face camera scene, you know what I'm saying? He was like kind of looking towards the audience. Like, that was the only scene in the movie that was kind of like that.
You notice there's a couple scenes where, like, it explodes on the screen? I wonder if they were just kind of going for a little 3D type deal back then.
Oh, like with the flames in the end?
And the ticks bursting out at you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You know what else I liked about the movie?
What's that?
Is they take the generic stereotypes kind of people and they bring them together. It's a group of kids that go out there like troubled teens and they get them all together and send them out youth camping. Kind of like Sleepaway Camp 3.
Oh, yeah.
And Sleepaway Camp 3 is hilarious. It's even more so crazy than this. The stereotypes. And
Carlton's the troubled black hoodlum. And Seth Green is the four-eyed nerdy white kid. And then the preppy rich, and then the rich girl, or the rich girl and the rich guy, and then
they got everybody like that.
Yeah, typical 80s, early
90s type deal. What else?
Poor Carlton in his hallucination just dreamt of the most racist scene that he can ever be in: a black guy in an alleyway with a burning trash can and two white rednecks chasing after him with a whip.
The good.
Where the hell am I?
Kind of remind me of like
racist,
poor
like
man's
Nightmare.
Tracy Walter, the one guy, and kind of like a I don't know, Richard Lynch, Jeffrey Jones, Gary Busey type deal. I don't know how much time we got left on this, but is there anything else you want to mention? I mentioned the picture quality is really good.
Yeah, actually, the picture quality for this the Blu-ray was really good.
Yeah.
I was kind of like
grainy,
low expectations. I was like, this isn't even gonna look like Blu-ray. It's just gonna look like a DVD.
Well, Alla Films, from my understanding, is a top-notch company.
So good quality, good film. I have no complaints.
Yeah, it's. I had something else on the tip of my tongue here that I was thinking about saying about. I can't remember. How it was.
You didn't mention anything before, so I can't think of anything. I don't have any complaints, and I liked everything.
Yeah,
in the movie.
It's a classic, movie that if you've seen as a kid,
it's kind of unfair to review this movie, but because since we both went into this movie both really liking it because nostalgia,
Yeah,
but it was a great movie, so we kind of knew the review we were going to give.
If you haven't seen this movie because it hasn't been on DVD in the United States, there's a UK import. Check out the Blu-ray if you want to, because no real special features except commentary. But Tony Randall's a pretty underrated director, and this is a pretty underrated Animals Attacks movie because this is probably one of the last good ones. The only good Animal Attacks movies they make now maybe is Rogue, which has a CGI crocodile, but it still looks pretty good. But I'm Mrparka.
Average Joe.
That's gonna happen now.
Yeah, that's gonna happen now. That just happened, and it'll continue happening.
Alright, take care.
Certainly not a snake bite. Seems to be a foreign mass under the sternum. A thoracic tumor wouldn't induce the kind of behavior you were describing. Strange. Can't seem to find any plasma.
What does that mean?
Means something drained your dog of all his blood.
I don't understand. What could have caused that?
Hey. What's going on here? Where the hell did you people come from? Close the door! I can't let that!
Hang on.
When in doubt, squish.
I think this is like the thing that attacked me and Melissa yesterday.
Just give me it. We'll just do a test. It pauses for a second. You just press it.